GSL Season 1.
We're back. We're so back. It's time for Protoss Civil War.
Zoun versus herO in the elimination match. Here of the round of 8 Group B. These players is going home.
Yeah.
Last one is going to have to play against a ByuN who just lost his first series of the tournament. ByuN has been looking so good thus far, but I have to wonder, Tasteless, if fatigue is starting to play at this a little bit. With ByuN, he seemed kind of tired after the last few games there versus SHIN. Hopefully he'll be rested and recovered after this series.
Can we get a darker shot here? Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah,
all right,
there we go.
All right. Nighttime here.
I can't.
Do you play in the dark in your room?
My lamp is always on, but it's a very soft light, you know?
I am actually, now I think about it, I turn on my stream light now. I'm like so used to having the lights on me when I stream now when I play StarCraft that I can't do it. I'm such a star. I've got to have the lights on me. Although generally, I do like playing, whether it's on my PC or if I'm playing like a game on my TV, I like having the lights out. It's dark. Except for my gamer RGB lights. Oh, that's right. Game. Do I game? Look at the case I put my PC in.
All right, folks. Zoun versus herO about to start. Map number 1 is
look at that light on herO's
feet.
face. The countdown light.
Oh, could we see it?
Yeah, you could see it. It was actually kind of
dramatic.
cool. Ooh.
It's a new rule now. You gotta have the lights out.
That's right. Although if it gets too dark and I can't see my keyboard. You would think you don't need to see your keyboard when you play, but sometimes I actually need to look down. And
I can't remember the last time I looked down at my keyboard.
You look down. 100% you look down sometimes.
I think you're wrong about this, Tasteless.
I think I'm 100% right. Okay, if I take a box and put it over your hand, do you think you would be able to ladder?
Oh, no, but that's peripheral vision. That's different from looking down.
Okay, I meant peripheral vision.
Well, obviously, yeah.
I look down more than I look at the screen. I'm just trying. I don't know where the home row keys are.
In my mind, looking at the monitor and having your hands on the keyboard just in your peripheral vision is very different from looking down at your hands.
No, I mean you need to be able to. I need to at least kind of see like down there.
Okay, I see where you're doing. Okay, I agree with you.
State.
Yeah, the box would be tricky. The box would be tricky.
Oh yeah, if we put a box over here, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah. All right, PvP.
All right. Apology accepted, State.
I apologize. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, it was lost in translation. herO up here in the top left, Zoun in the bottom right. Weird openings here.
Yeah, both guys going for double gate.
Same scout timings as well.
PvP tends to be a little bit more of an explosive matchup. So we might end up with a shorter series here.
Yeah, although sometimes when you have styles like these, where with herO and Zoun playing against each other, you can normalize into a 2 or a 3 base game. I feel like when it's one player, like MaxPax is notorious for this, just always going 1 gate fast expand in every single PvP. That kind of puts a timer on the entire match, right? I mean, they're either going to die trying to expand, or they will win by defending the expansion. But with players like herO and Zoun, who get a lot of games in versus each other, I think the probabilities of them just doing the safest possible openings, like right now, both going for a Stalker and a Sentry and then throwing a Pylon on the low ground, potentially for an expansion, you might get a lot more normal-looking PvP games between these two, for whatever that's worth, forever how normal PvP games can be.
Well, PvP is a great matchup because there's so many different types of PvPs you can have, you know. It is an interesting thing. The way Protoss was designed with the cybernetics core makes for these really hard turns in tech, right? Like a Twilight Council makes for such a different tech than a Stargate, which is so different than a Robo. And it's very hard to play a kind of a complete game. You know, you're not going for something without giving something else up. So by the way, both sides are going to go for a Robo, but we don't have a Nexus yet for Zoun. So Zoun either is going to have a later Nexus or he has to do something dramatic. So he is going to get a Nexus. It is a bit later, though, to be honest.
It's a bit of an interesting switch-up, as they're both going to be going for the Robo here. Zoun just wanted to get 1 more production cycle in out of the gateways. He opted to go for 2 Adepts. And he might be able to dodge the Hallucination Scout. The Phoenix will see each other in the center of the map, so Zoun does know the trajectory of the Phoenix. Will he be able to hide those 2 Adepts? Or, oh, in fact, they were canceled. No, they weren't. I keep getting duped. They're actually already out on the map. I can't believe I completely missed that.
Yeah, both these guys with mirrored pylons. I think this is to just check if like a warp prism's going to go under there. I guess you could. No, hold on a second. He's warping something in there.
Twilight Council? Oh, it's a 3rd gateway.
Whoa.
How funny would it be if herO also proxied the gateway?
Yeah,
top
well,
right
that would
side?
be hilarious.
All right, these Adepts making their way here into the main base, getting a lot of probe damage done. At least 5 probes are going to fall. Might be able to even get 6 if he can connect with 1 more shot.
How many kills is this going to get? All right, 6 kills. 6 is a lot in a PvP.
herO also proxying Twilight Council on the top right side of the map. There are 2 Warp Prisms, I believe, on the map as well. Zhaon's Warp Prism heading towards a 9 o'clock position right now. herO setting up for an Adept drop into the main base of Zoun.
Very weird looking game. So the 2 Adepts are going to come over here. He does not get any kills on these probes.
There are some fancy micro tricks you can do, just pairing up the Adept Shades with picking them up in a Warp Prism, but I think that Zoun is so well positioned, it'll be difficult for herO to find that angle. This might be him going for it. You can see him testing the waters right there with the Warp Prism, but Adepts could not get into the main base. Instead, they will still shade through. All right, there's some fancy micro. More probe damage being done. Not quite getting any more kills. Still, 2 more probes is going to normalize things a little bit here. And Zhaon's doing the same thing on the other side of the map. A lot of Adept drops here.
Okay, so we've got the Dark Shrine about halfway done. And I don't know, we have that one observer we're looking at, but, in a lot of these games, you start to make a lot more Immortals. And, if the DT can get over there and just get some kills, and keep in mind, this looks like it's just an Adept harass, right? You're not thinking, like, what if he just warps in DTs right here, right? Meanwhile, Zoun is gearing up for an attack. Nothing's making out of the Robo.
A lot of probes falling now for Zoun. He's down to 23 workers in total.
Yeah.
herO's focused instead on defending the natural expansion, so he's not microing the Adepts in the main base. Force fields are going to drop, isolating these Adepts. They will shade into the main base, actually.
God.
So more probes going to fall on this side of the map. There's so many probes have been taken out, both by Zoun and herO, as the push is continuing on. The shield battery not yet done. Warp Prism gets isolated. No defensive Warp Prism here to save that Immortal. So the probes have to get pulled. The shield battery is going to provide a little bit more stability here. And there's a DT in the main base. Observer getting boosted out.
I don't
this
think
is a chaotic game.
I think herO, I'm sorry, Zoun doesn't even know.
He's making an Observer. I think he has to have an idea. But Zoun is down to 9 probes. There's basically no economy anymore for Zoun.
Dude, it's going to get lower, too. I think he doesn't know. I think he just lost his Observer in the fight is what's happening.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because this Observer's gone, too.
Zoun now pushing up into the top. You can do so much shuttle micro here with this Warp Prism. Immortal also going to fall. herO has to micro back. And herO still has 17 workers mining. There is 0 workers right now for Zoun. herO can pull the probes at any time. Right now he's just trying to gather enough resources to get 1 more production in. Warp gates are unpowered. It's going to be all about the Warp Prism right now. Shield battery is going to be giving a lot more sustain. Does herO have enough here? I think the shield battery has proven to be the difference. Oh, it's still so close. If either Immortal falls, that might decide the game.
Yeah, this is so close. 5 workers to 0.
Zoun does have the better army supply. I think Zoun might have this.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't know if you have enough manpower to kind of do anything.
There's still 5 more probes here for herO. He also does have that DT, but there's plenty of detection on the map.
Yeah, the DT's never going to kill everything.
Warp Prism could power the gateways to try and get a couple more warps in.
That's smart.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, but then he would lose it to Stalkers.
Yeah, maybe if Zoun goes a little bit too deep into the main base, he could do something like that, or if Zoun decides he wants to move down into the natural expansion.
What a game. This is just crazy. He should never have let anything come up the ramp at all. He should have forced him to try to micro the Warp Prism. He let some of the Stalkers in there and tried to split him at the ramp.
If the DT is working on the main nexus of Zoun right now, I'm not sure where the DT is in the main base of Zoun.
It seems like it's at the ramp. Gateway.
If it works on the nexus, there is the potential that herO could win a base trade situation by just eliminating all of the bases of Zoun. Zoun has no workers. If he makes a probe, he doesn't have enough money to build any structure. And that DT is still working on the buildings. herO, he's trying to focus fire down the Immortal. Oh, he's doing it! It's solo on HP. Oh my goodness, herO's Immortal. Both Immortals are one shot away from being taken down. And now with a Stalker Micro,
this is insane.
Zoun can push the issue.
This is insane.
There's dead airspace. The Warp Prism's going to survive.
Oh my god!
The DT during all of this is still taking down structures. He's now going to go for the Nexus, I think.
Can he put a Stalker on either side?
There are still 2 probes mining in the main base of herO. If he can power up the shield battery, that might be enough for the Immortal to stabilize things. Is that a recall, actually? I think he's recalling the DT to take down the Sentry, the natural expansion.
He's recalling the Warp Prism.
Oh, is it the Warp Prism?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a crazy game. herO's at 4 supply. That's just going to be a GG. I think the Immortal fell off screen.
That was insane.
That was nuts.
Zoun wins that. I love that PvP. What a special PvP that was.
That was a wild game. I mean, so much of it just came down to the Warp Prism Micro of the Immortals. Oh, that was a treat. I really thought for a moment that herO had it just because he had those 2 shield batteries in the main base and he could pull the probes. I thought that would be enough HP, but the damage output of Zoun's army was just high enough to break through, take down all the gateway units of herO. He was left with maybe an Immortal and a Stalker or something in total, and that was simply not enough. Okay. And Zoun taking game number 1.
Yeah, White Rabbit's going to be our next map. That was so crazy. That was actually pretty hard to follow and cast, to be honest. There was so many factors at play there. herO almost did it. Like, he had some very cool ideas. The problem is that once you got the DT and you're killing probes, you have to like do everything to not let them onto your high ground. He did this thing. If you go back and look at the game, he force fielded it and let like some of the Stalkers get stuck above the high ground. And the thing is, you don't care about that because now you just take your Warp Prism and dump the rest of the units in there. You want to basically have a force field at your ramp and keep that going, and then wherever the Warp Prism goes, you got to block it. You can't have a couple Stalkers over there already doing damage because you're going to just start to lose the fight.
Whenever you have a game like that, a game that is so chaotic and there's so much upheaval on both sides of the map, I mean, mistakes are inevitable.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why those games are so fun to watch is because nobody can navigate those kind of situations perfectly. And the better you do, the more exciting it is to watch. What a treat that game number 1 was. I honestly thought when we saw expansions on both sides relatively quickly that, oh, we're going to get a fairly normal PvP. What we got was the furthest thing from that. Proxy Darkshrine versus a Proxy Third Gateway Robo Push. After the expansions. Oh, that was a lot of fun. These 2 are they're so enjoyable to watch play.
Okay, so it's going to be the double gate opening. Again, there's a million different games you can get from this. And by the way, they both went for very, very unusual timings. I mean, we had a hidden third gate with a Immortal push over there on the front from Zoun, and then we had this DT tech, basically like Adept Harass into a surprise, springing a DT attack onto the base. Really nicely done. I have no idea what we're going to get this time around.
What year is it, Tasteless? We have a pylon built in the main base of herO.
Would you look at that? Were we talking about this yesterday?
I think we were.
Yeah, I was saying, like, you don't really see it anymore, but, like, if you don't check every single time for this, like, you could just lose. So I assume what he wants to do is just make 2 Adepts, and you basically just go in there. By the way, if 2 Adepts get into your base and start to kill probes, you're basically dead.
Yeah,
you
need gateway units to deal with it, and basically every gateway unit, except for Adepts, kills Adepts so slowly that they're just going to continuously one-shot.
Yeah, your Adepts can ignore what they're doing. And, I remember when the Adepts, like, this is basically when Legacy of the Void first came out, the Adepts were able to do so much. Let me rephrase this. People were not used to how the Adepts moved, and so people were just bad at basically dealing with shades.
It was an entirely different concept of movement in StarCraft. Yeah. We never had anything like this before.
Now people are really good about it, and we're all very nonplussed when we see like perfect defense against Adepts, but it wasn't like that all the time. But a lot of games back then just ended because the Adepts would just get in the base and you'd kill like 7 probes and the game was done. So that's going to be probably one of these games.
If you go back long enough, Adepts using 2-shot SCVs. Those were the golden days.
Yeah, that was the best.
When they patched that out, I changed my builds. I would build a Forge and get +1 to ground weapons, and then I would do the same thing so they still 2-shot the SCVs.
Yeah.
Oh, Adepts are so much fun. And as it stands, both players going for a 3-gate robo opening. For herO, actually,
he knows.
Rebuilt here in the main base, and now he's going to spot the pylon. A lucky catch here for herO because Warp Gate just now is finishing for Zoun.
Can't warp in. He's going to ditch it. Oh, I'm almost sad. I almost wanted it to work.
And herO's doing a very interesting thing. I believe he knows that Zoun is going for this kind of one-base play just because of what he saw up the ramp. He saw no Nexus. He saw all of the infrastructure. And so he is going for, herO is going for a Stargate in the main base. And I think he might trickle out either Phoenixes or Void Rays with this. And both those pairings are going to work so well with what he's got on defense because they're the only units that are going to be able to effectively deal with the Warp Prism and put a timer on the micro of ZYAN. ZYAN is doing the same thing. What a funny looking game this is.
Yeah, this is something else.
Is there a way this can transpose into Phoenix versus Phoenix? Because both players are now... herO is now making Phoenix, and I think ZYAN, once his Stargate is done, if herO has Phoenix, you need Phoenix. Otherwise, why would you even have a Stargate?
Well, I do feel like if one guy gets a lead on you with Phoenixes, then like it's almost not worth it, right? You should probably try to go into something else.
Yeah, but if you're going to go into something else, you don't even make the Stargate, right? So it's kind of a, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I guess that's true. So he's got the 2 Adepts over here. Not actually getting many kills, kind of fumbled the control there. I don't know what just happened there.
It's tricky when all the probes stack up on each other.
So herO's going to come out with a 3-gate.
And here's the warp prism of ZYAN and the Phoenix of herO. And ZYAN is simultaneously building his own Phoenix in his main base. herO has cut Phoenix production, so I think that he's going to try and instead maybe levy some pressure on the natural expansion here of ZYAN. I believe in a situation like this one, the best thing to do is just get enough Phoenixes to deal with a Warp Prism. I don't think you can easily go into a full-on Phoenix transition, but both players are still producing Phoenix, so let's see where this goes.
Okay. We've got the Immortal out. And, you know, it seems like what could have been a pretty climactic moment, everything's kind of calmed down. He's basically staying back. And we're probably just going to power up into a mid-game PvP. Phoenixes are still being produced on both sides, so the Phoenix arm race is not dying down.
I don't think I've ever seen a PvP game where both players go 3-gate Robo Stargate before expanding. But now we have seen it tasteless.
Yeah.
And the armies that we have on the field on both sides are very funny looking. They don't synergize particularly well. It seems like they're more focused on just trying to deal with what the opponent's got. And well, you got to be careful right now as herO. herO does have a 1 Phoenix advantage, but that Phoenix is currently working its way across the map. As long as ZYAN is defending, the Phoenix count should be even. And you cannot afford to lose the Warp Prism with 2 Immortals right now as herO. It feels like with the builds this identical, a Warp Prism getting sniped with Immortals in it would basically end the game. Okay, engagement coming in. Ooh. First Phoenix falling there by herO, but he's done about the same amount of damage, so it's a nearly even trade. herO sniping 1 more Phoenix in total.
Yeah, he gets a slight lead, but the 4th Phoenix can't quite meet up with this. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism's going to be headed back home. We have another Stargate being made here for ZYAN, so he's going to basically double down on the Phoenixes. And one thing is, like, if you can actually snowball a fight with Phoenixes, then you pick up like the Immortals or the Stalkers, whatever you can take, and start to clear that out. And herO's going to go for Glaives.
Huh.
Wow. Now, I think this is going to be bad, I think, for herO.
I see some of the logic in it. If there are a ton of Glaive Adepts, I mean, the Phoenixes are going to trade out. Even if ZYAN wins the Phoenix War, a lot of the Phoenixes will fall. And so there won't be very many lifts available. And a lot of the units that ZYAN has currently, such as the Immortals, the Stalkers, they don't do very well versus Adepts. In fact, 2-base Adept timing attacks with Immortals and Glaives do so much damage, and I think herO is very wisely trying to trade out some of these Phoenix, although it is not going his way. If he can get one more, I think it would be worth it, but instead Zoun going to get the lion's share of this trade.
Yeah, so he cleans that out. Big Phoenix lead here. He did see the second Stargate.
So he knows. I think there's just going to be so many Adepts that the Phoenix will not be able to lift up absolutely everything. And the Stalkers for herO should survive the entire fight. The Adepts are always going to be in front of the Stalkers. So herO will always have the anti-air. It's really going to put a timer on the Phoenix of Zoun. I think one more warp in here for herO and you just send it.
Okay, he's got a hallucinated Immortal here in the front. I love this. Wait. Okay, he's going to pull back now. He's going to try to attack in. And we got the Phoenixes with the pickups here.
Phoenix is picking up as much as they possibly can right now. The Immortals for herO are shuttled into the front. And the Warp Prism actually getting set up. It's going to be a Warp in 3 Adepts before it gets taken out. There's just so many Adepts here for herO. They're so tanky. Zoun cannot deal with these fast enough. And herO's able to push through. He still has the 4 Stalkers that can deal with the Phoenix.
The thing is, there's enough Phoenixes here. He can keep lifting stuff up. He wanted to take... Okay, what a funny interaction. Now, it looks like he's going to go in there and try to kill off a bunch of probes. Zoun is still pursuing.
Zoun all the way down to 32 workers right now. The Phoenixes, importantly, are still alive. We have 8 Phoenixes in total. Now anti-air is really going to become an issue for herO.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem, right? Is the Phoenix count is so high. Like, how many Stalkers do you need to have to actually fight this, right?
At least a 1-to-1 ratio. The Phoenix might even be able to snipe the Warp Prism before the Warp-In fully finishes. No, the Warp-In will finish. And herO has enough on the ground to clean up the ground army here of Zoun. It's such an odd engagement. The Warp Prism gets sniped as well. The Phoenixes are still here. There's still a problem.
herO's going to go back across the map. I don't know about this.
I mean, there's no ground army here for Zoun. It's just the Phoenix you have to worry about. And so I think no matter what, getting the Adepts on top of Zoun's economy is going to be a good move, but you will sacrifice a lot more. The thing is, these units have to distract the Phoenix, otherwise the Adepts, they will not get the kills.
He should probably just send these up into his main and block. So he's going to pull those away. The thing is, I mean, he can just keep getting pickups here. He's got the entrance blocked.
Yeah, but I think herO's not trying to trade effectively. I think he's trying to buy time to get Stalkers up back at home, while simultaneously neutering the economy right now of Zoun. I mean, Zoun's down to 25 workers.
Yeah, very true.
But this is so many Phoenix chases. At this point, I was going to say get +1 air weapons, but I don't even know if damage is a limiting factor for the Phoenix. It feels like it might just be HP and liftoffs. And so Zoun is going to get across the map as fast as he possibly can. We have more Phoenix than Stalkers. And I think we almost, I don't know how many Phoenix it takes to one-shot a Stalker. I think we're not quite there yet, but they should be pretty close to two-shotting him.
I mean, the one thing to keep in mind is that, like, these... Oh, my God, he's going to get a Void Ray. Wow. So, you know, these Phoenixes can keep getting value. If he could maybe go into the main, he could kill off, like, 10 workers almost immediately, which I think is what he's going to do. And suddenly, this game's starting to look a lot more complicated here for herO. Look at that.
Blink is mostly done, but keep in mind, the army for Zoun, it's mostly these Phoenix. And I know he didn't spend all of his energy there, but that's still a lot of lifts that he's not going to have.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's a balancing act right now as Zoun. You need to get economic damage done. Oh, Blink is finished. Stalker's Blink sniped one of the Phoenix, another one deep in the red. Another Blink, another Phoenix gets sniped. herO is zoning Zoun away from his own base right now with these Stalkers in the middle. Yeah, so Zoun gonna recall.
Yeah, recall, because the Stalkers can zone. herO needs this to work. He does have an Immortal. An Immortal is a Stalker Buster. The third base is up. I actually honestly didn't even notice that third base was there. I was watching these Phoenixes so closely. I'm like, oh, he expanded. And the Templar Archives has started here too.
If herO has a little bit more time, I think this game might be getting out of reach here for Zoun, because the moment that charged Zealots and Archons get on the field, that answers everything. The Phoenix cannot kill the Archons. There will be way too many Zealots for them to lift off. And the Zealots being a front line will mean that the Immortals are never going to find the connections onto the Stalkers of herO. So the army composition that herO is transitioning into it almost hard counters what Zoun is doing. And so Zoun needs to find either economic damage or he needs to move out very soon. But I feel like he might have gotten slowed down a little bit too much. He's actually going into Glaives. Now, Glaives are very good against Charged Zealots, but they have the same problem versus Archons. Archons are an excellent answer to Glaive Adepts.
Yeah. What a weird PvP.
It has been a bizarre series between these two.
Never get to see a PvP like this one, you know? So while the game quiets down, the Stalkers are still out. He's going to try to intercept again. There's been an observer roaming the map that's been really good at basically spotting this. There's enough Stalkers you can't really do pickups anymore.
Oh, he can't even recall right now. He has to babysit these Phoenix in the corner.
Move spam these into the corner. This is so annoying because they will spread out.
If only they didn't patch out the Viking Flower, this could be so much easier.
Yeah. A nice patrol move there would fix this nicely. It'd be so funny if he stormed this.
He's going to try and feedback them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why not?
They're going to make the Archon anyway.
herO looks to be trying to move in here and basically do his big attack. I don't know that Zoun can survive this, but let's see.
Glaive's not done just yet. Oh, this is a massive army for herO with Guardian Shield 2 to mitigate the damage from those Phoenix. Glaive's 10 seconds away from completion, but herO's army looks like it is well crafted to deal with exactly what Zoun has got. And he has a 3-base economy behind him. I would say that herO doesn't have to push in. He could just try and contain, but this is herO we're talking about. So the engagement is going to take place now. The Phoenix lifting up all the Stalkers, trying to minimize the range damage. Now the Adepts making quick work of all the Zealots, but the Archons, they have so much damage versus these Adepts, and none of Zoun's army can quickly deal with them. And so the Archon's just powering through right now, absorbing so much damage and dealing so much damage.
Yeah, the Immortals are falling, and there's too many Stalkers left over. herO's going to win this game. Beautifully done. Again, these Archons just melting these Adepts. GG. Wow. Okay, game 3, let's go.
This has been maybe one of the most bizarre PvP series I've ever seen. Jeez.
I mean, that game was different. That game was different.
That was a game where we had both players go 3-gate Robo, Stargate Phoenix into an expansion. And then there was a Phoenix War between the two of them. And then herO went for a Glaives timing attack. And then eventually it seemed like Zoun was setting up to go for a Glaive timing attack.
Yeah, like Glaives way after Glaives.
That was such a strange game. That's a game that, like, look, Tasteless, we got a million monkeys in a room. They've been playing StarCraft for 10,000 years. This is the game that the most looks like real StarCraft. Can you please cast it?
Yeah, I mean,
it just makes no sense.
It was such a weird interaction. It was actually pretty hard to follow.
It was just
I'm like,
so
wait,
strange.
who's ahead here? How does this fight actually pan out?
It's a terrible game to look at if you're trying to understand and learn.
Well, I think I left that game with more questions than answers.
I think Zoun and herO also left that game with more questions than answers. I mean, that was confounding in every possible way.
And we didn't get to have our banner pylon in the main.
Yeah, no pylon.
That's too bad. The pylon main got up, and it got scouted at the last possible second. Let's start GSL versus herO and Zoun. Let's go. Guys, the winner is going up against ByuN. The loser's out.
Zoun spawning in the bottom left, herO the top right here.
For a second, I almost thought this was like the winner's match. I was like, these games have been so crazy and so intense, but yeah, this is actually the elimination match.
Yeah, we've had some very long games in this GSL. SHIN versus ByuN, every game it felt like was pushing 20+ minutes, and then I think every series up until now has been a 2-1, or this one is a 1-1, so they've all gone the distance. Really getting our money's worth with the matches so far today.
Yeah, this is absolute game value extraction here at GSL. So we're going to see what kind of PvP these guys are going to give us. You know, there's so many ways a PvP can go. It's why I think it's maybe the most interesting early game matchup that there is. Other early game matchups can be a little bit more formulaic. A little bit more predictable, but PvP, man, there's just so many different ways to do it. Both, the third game in a row now, both these guys go for double gate, excuse me.
Yeah, both going for a 2-gate opening. herO opting not to. Have an early probe scout here. In fact, the probe timing for herO is a bit curious. It's right when the cybernetics core is done. So in theory, herO could move across the map and scout Zoun's base with no threat of it being cleaned up by adepts or by stalkers, but instead it looks like he's setting up for a proxy. Quite similar to what we saw from him in game number 2.
Yeah, is it going to be the Robo again?
If it's Robo into Stargate again, I'm going to lose my mind, Tasteless.
They recreate that insanely unusual game one more time. So he's got the pylon here. You could, does that reach onto the low ground?
I think this might just be to trick Zoun. Because Zoun was scouting in the main base, he saw there's only one pylon, and he knows there needs to be a second pylon for herO to continue producing back at home. And so herO, he's throwing this pylon into a very hard to scout position so that Zoun is assuming there's a proxy.
Right. So he's going to come in now. And see, it's going to be a double stalker play. There is a Twilight Council. But you can never trust this right when you see it, right? Like, he could kill this and cancel. We'll see if that's going to be the case.
I think it'd be advantageous for herO if Zoun did cancel, because herO's going for a Stargate. So likely going to be Oracle play coming in here by herO, and a fast expansion too.
Yeah, herO's next is very quick.
Oh, the Robo, the Twilight did get canceled. We have a Robo instead from Zoun.
Okay, so he did do the cancel. I just thought, are you really going to stick with that tech when you see that? So it's going to be interesting. We've got the Oracle coming out now.
The Robo, on paper, it's better against what herO is doing than a Twilight Council, but the issue that I find with it is that it's going to be coming online so late that herO's natural expansion might start paying off for Zoun as they're really able to mount his attack. And so it's going to be a 3-gate Robo push coming in from Zoun, but it's a little bit slower than it usually would be hitting at.
Right, and that's all because he had to get the Twilight and then cancel it. So with his tech mix-ups, he's just going to be developing a little bit slower.
Let's see how this impacts the game. It could work in his advantage, too, because the army that he's been moving across the map with will be absolutely massive. If herO doesn't have the perfect picture of exactly what is happening, which I suppose he will because of the scouting Oracle, it might catch him off guard. These poor stalkers, ooh, get a deny on the shield battery. That is a kill, so 100 minerals down the drain.
Okay, he's going to push out a little bit further. Now, this game is going to be very simple. It's hard to say who's going to win, but the conditions to win are very clear. Either Zoun comes down here and overwhelms herO and kills him, or herO holds this off, and the game is going to be a one either right then or later on, because 2 bases is so much more than 1 in a game of StarCraft 2.
I love Zoun also going for an observer here. I feel like you would only do that versus herO in this situation. Just got to make sure nothing catches you completely off guard. Okay. And now Zoun has a massive army. There's only 1 shield battery here for herO.
Okay, with the sentry there, you know it's going to be this kind of push. And herO's trying to get his own immortal. There are more stalkers right now for Zoun. 11-6. 1 battery.
I feel like herO's going to have to pull probes.
I think he's got to pull probes here. I think you are 1,000% correct.
No stasis trap just yet here for herO. Phoenix is going to try and come in. Stasis trap gets taken out. Zoun's got to focus fire it again. This stasis trap is going to catch the entire army.
The Warp Prism, the Warp Prism. Oh my God, it's going to. Well, it's not going to get away because there's a Phoenix there, but
oh no!
Oh my God! And you know, Zoun, look at Zoun put his hands on his head.
He knows.
He's like, oh, this is the worst thing.
He caught the first stasis trap, but he missed the second one. He just didn't see it. Now these stalkers are going to have to retreat out of here. You cannot fight the immortal like this. And herO's got the natural expansion up. More units are coming across the map, but the Warp Prism, it's only just now finishing here for Zoun. herO just bought himself so much time. That stasis ward just saved herO's life in this GSL.
Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect stasis ward and allowed the, I mean, we might just see Zoun tap out here. He is going to target that immortal, and it was not able to be healed. I'm not clear on what the battery energy was back there, but it did not make it. And, I mean, look, okay, the second Warp Prism's going to come up, but you know that this is dire straits. You know that this is a situation where, like, probably not going to work, but you got to try anyways. You got to give it the good old college try.
Loser of this match is out of the GSL Code S. The winner is going to advance, and that winner will be herO. GG is called.
What an ending to that. Oh my God. Oh, look at. I mean, the disappointment is palatable.
He had the game won. It was just the stasis
Yeah.
trap. One stasis trap caught absolutely everything. And Zoun saw the first one. He just didn't see the second.
Yeah. I mean, that was incredible. Shout outs to herO there winning that. We're gonna have our final match as herO versus ByuN. That's very cool.
Yeah, that is going to be a really fun one. They have already played today, too. ByuN won that series 2-1, and so we're going to run it back. And the winner is going to be advancing on into the offline finals here in the GSL. Are we going to have 3 Terrans and a Zerg? Are we going to have 1 Protoss and get parity? We're going to find out soon.
Yep, guys, we'll be right back.